Hey, what's up, guys? This is Grego, and I was just about to give somebody a lesson, and it gave me a good idea for a little video. So I thought I'd make you guys some YouTube content and give you something that you can learn from and potentially increase your rank or make your team better. So, fair warning. The first half of this video, the gameplay is going to be completely pointless, and what you're seeing on the screen is really just there because I didn't know what the hell else to put on the screen. So anyways, let's just get on into this. The importance of disengaging and why it is a tool you should be using more often. So let's just start with why. With the why. Like, what makes disengaging such a useful tool? Well, for the obvious reason, it puts you out of immediate danger. And if you call for a disengage, the second you see a Winston jumping in your team, you're going to have a lot easier time killing the bubble, focusing the Winston down. It relieves pressure from your team. It makes your support's job so much easier. These are the obvious reasons. I think everybody sees and understands these things, even if they don't use it as a tool themselves. They can realize why it's good. So, more complex reasons. Let's move on to, let's say you're playing a payload map, and you've got two teams just playing standard comps. They're sieging shields, just breaking it down, breaking the shield down, that is, not Lucio ulting. You notice your shield's getting your shield is healthier than the other team's shield. Theirs is cracking, yours isn't. This is when the enemy team is going to do one of two things, if they are close to you. They are either going to hide and use the cover that's near them and back up a little bit to regen their shields, or they're going to push straight into you because they're close enough to close the gap. And if you just take a fight like that when your shield's low, it doesn't really matter if you have shield up. Yes, having shield in the middle of a fight is very useful, but oftentimes it's not the turner of the fight, especially when you're just speed boosting straight into the enemy team. So when it's good to disengage here is when you're on defense, you're winning the shield battle, and the enemy team is pushing into you. When you see the enemy team get desperate when their shield is breaking, and you disengage from that, and your entire team does it successfully without giving up a pick, this is when you're in a very opportune time to almost just walk right in there and get kills for free. A Rhine without a Rhine shield is a free Rhine kill. You can animate, you can hook, whatever. He might get Zarya bubbled, but chances are he's gonna die. And not only that, but the rest of their team's taking an insane amount of chip damage too, depending on what kind of comp you're running. So there's obviously a lot more situations where this can potentially work out, like spotting an ult setup and removing your team from the situation. So let's say you're on attack, your team has just captured this first point. You're moving on to the streets phase. The enemy McCree has gotten some good damage. You think this enemy McCree might have a high noon. Now this is a classic time where on defense the enemy McCree would go up into the window and he would wait up there for the attacking team to walk right in like this, and right when they commit to a fight at about right here, this McCree pops out. The rest of the defenders engage so that the enemy team does not feel that they have the option to push forward and get away from this high noon. So they're stuck in this area, potentially splitting up their team, running around for cover, as this McCree high noon is creating tons of space for them and potentially generating picks. And so this is when, again, it is a great time to disengage. You're attacking and you're getting into this situation, and the enemy team has that high noon, or you think they have the high noon, and so you either have someone clear up top, or you be very wary of it and you can bait it out. So you can save your cooldowns for it, and you can walk up to the enemy team and just say, hey guys, we're walking up, don't use any cooldowns, don't commit. I think they're going to go for a trap here, they're going to set up on us. Get ready to disengage, and that's when you call for the disengage, when you hear it or see it, and everybody backs up. The Rhine on the defense is probably charging in to ensure that they're committing to a fight, and the McCree's wasting his high noon. Everybody's using so much resources to get onto you, and again, you can just walk in for free Enemy team speed boost is down, they can't disengage. That's great. So that is a great situation, and I'm going to go back to the first point here, defense, because I actually just skipped something. But so let's say you're on defense, and the enemy team's running a Hanzo. You know, the Hanzo comes out, jumps up there, he shoots your Ana in the head. Before the enemy team even gets into the point, they've not even touched it. They haven't capped a single checkpoint, or they haven't capped a single check on the checkpoint. And so this is another good time where you can disengage. So you call for the disengage, and the entire enemy team would back up right here, so they can't take any spam. Your Rein's not wasting his shield. You wait for your Ana to get back, and usually you do get enough time to wait for the respawn, or at least until she's close enough to where you have a real fighting chance to re-engage and have your Rein step on the point, and you can get an actual 6v6. So, you know, cutting your losses, that kind of thing. So let's move on to when it's not good to disengage. And I'll start off with saying that most of the time when you would not want to most of the times you wouldn't want to disengage are on defense. So let's start with the second point and third points of hybrid maps, and we can just use King's Row for this. Let's say you're on defense and your team is losing the first point. The offense is capping it. Your team's backing up, trying not to feed ultimate, but the enemy team's just coming in and they're staggering you anyways. They're just wiping up your team, and you're all getting lawn spawn, and you're gonna end up spawning all the way in the back at that spawn and not this one. So your team's not properly going to be able to properly set up close enough. The enemy team's most likely already pushed the cart to at least about here, if not even further. And so what this does is it makes it so you do not have room to disengage, because if the cart's already pushed this far and you disengage and you do not contest the cart and you just give that space up for free, well, when you re-engage, winning the fight, obviously, if you think you can disengage and re-engage and you will absolutely win that fight, sure, that's going to be the right play. But more oftentimes than not, you cannot ensure that, and disengaging right here gives them the opportunity to, if they potentially win that fight when you re-engage and the cart's about right here, if you lose this fight, you're not getting a second fight on this phase. And the second fight is the most important fight on this phase, because you have a closer respawn at that point, and the attackers have a longer respawn, etc. And so that same kind of thing applies to the third point of defense, and really it's about being a good judge of how quickly you've set up and like exactly where the cart is, and can you get that second fight in that checkpoint. And in this case, if you cannot, it is literally better to just jump on the cart and lose that fight before it pushes too far, and stop it and make sure you're all dying on the cart so it's not pushing, than it is to wait and only get that one fight. Because chances are the enemy team's going to use some ults from winning the first checkpoint. You're going to burn their ultimates. You might even gain some ultimate charge from that fight, depending on how quickly they wipe you up. And you can see why this is also important. So on third points, there's also another reason besides just making sure that you get 2 fights. And the reason I bring it up in third points is because a lot of third points share the same quality, where you're just backed up against a wall, and where your supports are able to position safely and where your front line is able to position safely are often not optimal, and creates a lot of like room for error, because you've got people on different elevations, you've got supports backed up against walls, and that sort of thing. So in this situation on King's Row, the attackers have pushed it here. They won the first fight already. You know, they're coming around. Your team's getting set up. They're bringing it around this corner. Your team's set up right here. This is an instance in which you cannot disengage, because if you disengage right here, this is just a bad place to fight. You have nothing here. You have a small health pack and you have some cover, but really it gives high ground to the enemy team, and it's opening you guys up, and more often than not splitting the team up. And there's other little reasons, like you're putting yourself up against like this little wall here, which is like letting the enemy team Anna just have free reign to throw a bomb against the wall above the Rhine shield and splash the entire team. And you're probably going to lose that fight. And so I think that's about it. I'm sorry the gameplay in this video was just like nothing and literally just me standing there, but I just wanted to use the map as a reference and give you an example of like what areas are these ideas useful and not useful. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video useful. Please give me a like and subscribe, and I'll do my best to make more content like this and help you guys improve in your ranked games and among your teams. Thanks guys.